First getting in the car, it's always a good idea to make sure you know where some crucial things are. You should always know where your headlights and windshield wipers are, especially since you can be asked this on the road test. When the car is in park, the state also requires that the parking brake is fully engaged. Before we do anything, we'll make sure this isn't on by getting rid of the red brake light on the dashboard. Nowadays, this can be done by the foot brake, hand brake, or the parking brake button. Now that we're ready to move, let's do a 3-point turn. To start this maneuver, we're going to start nice and close to the curb. This gives us plenty of space to turn around the car, which is the goal of this maneuver. For the first point, I want to do the two things I always do before moving the car, a signal and a blind spot check. Now I'll bring the car as close as I possibly can to the curb on the far side of the road. Because I fully utilize the space in the road, I have plenty of space to back up with the wheel all the way to the right. I'm making sure to turn before I move, just like I would in any tight space, and look out the back to make sure there's nothing behind me. It's better to make sure I turn more than I think I need to ensure that I don't run out of space. Now that I believe I have enough space to pull away, I'm going to turn all the way to the left and put the car back in drive and pull away. And that's all there is to the 3-point turn. Next up is the 50-foot backup. Now this maneuver can seem pretty simple, but it's also pretty easy to mess up. First I'm going to position the car somewhere within a foot from the curb. My only goal for this is to back up without hitting the curb and to keep myself on my side of the road. Now I'll put the car in reverse and push against the passenger seat to look out the back window. All there is to it is to keep the wheel as straight as possible while making slight adjustments if I feel the car start to drift from one side or another. I might make brief glances to the right side mirror, but I keep my focus out the back as is required by the state to pass the test. Once the examiner tells me to stop and I haven't gone too close to one side, I'm all done with this maneuver. Now comes everyone's least favorite part of driving, the parallel park. Quickly before we start, there are a lot of ways to parallel park, but the structure we like is called the 10 o'clock method. We'll show you how it's done. First, pull up mirror to mirror with the car you intend to parallel park on. You want to pull up pretty close to the car, but not dangerously close so that you scare the examiner during the test. Next, I'm going to back up until my mirror reaches the back of their back door. This is only because you won't have a car behind you on the Massachusetts parallel parking test. Otherwise, I might want to start turning a little sooner. Now that I'm back here, I'm going to turn the wheel all the way to the right and start moving the car into the road until I believe that my car is at 10 o'clock, imagining the car I'm parallel parking on is at 12 o'clock. We like this method at our driving school because it's impossible to have a way of parallel parking that will always work, but this will give you a good idea of the area you need to get to in order to know your parallel park is going to go pretty well. Now that I believe I've reached 10 o'clock and I see that I'm getting pretty close to the curb, I'll come to a stop and turn the wheel all the way to the left. Now the car should slide right in behind the other car and close to the curb. For the test in Massachusetts, you're allowed 2 corrections on the road test. This should make it easy to fix the 2 problems you could have while parallel parking. The first and most common problem is being too far away from the curb. Since there won't be a car behind you on the test, this is a surprisingly easy problem to fix, and we'll do so with what we call a mini parallel park. So once again, I'll turn the wheel all the way to the right and get myself really close to the curb, then turn the wheel back to the left to straighten out again. The other possible problem would be ending up too close to the curb and hitting it. For the road test, as long as you make a successful parallel park without hitting the curb, it's considered a pass. So what I'll do now that I see I've ended up too close to the curb is immediately put the car back in drive and turn the wheel all the way to the right. Sometimes this will be enough to fix your parallel park, but sometimes it's not quite enough. But that's alright. I'll just put the car back in reverse now that I'm too close to the other car and turn the wheel all the way to the left to finish straightening out my car.